Front and Center. Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Welcome to Front and Center, where we focus on developments in the Philippines, legislation that provides policies and directions that strives to promote a better economy for the country, issues that concern the welfare and well-being of every Filipino. All of these and more will be Front and Center. And you can watch this program on our Facebook page and also on our YouTube channel. That's Radyo Pilipinas World Service, and you can catch this episode through our audio streaming at Evox PBS receiver app. And now you can hear this program via shortwave broadcast through our frequencies. That's 15.640 megahertz, 12.020 megahertz, and 17.665 megahertz. You can hear the broadcast of English programs from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. local time, Manila time, or 0200 to 3:30 UTC. This is your host, Jerome Toledo. Join me here on Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Last month, particularly on November 28th, the Philippines has been re-elected to the International Maritime Organization or IMO Council under Category C, reaffirming the country's critical role in shaping the future of global shipping and championing the rights and welfare of the world's seafarers. And according to the DFA news release, the Philippines' re-election marks a renewed vote of confidence from the 176 member states of the IMO and stakeholders of the international maritime community. It also underscores the Philippines' unmatched contribution as the world's premier provider of highly skilled seafarers, men and women who power the global supply chain and keep international trade moving. And in his part, Ambassador Teodoro Locsin Jr., the Philippine permanent representative to the IMO at the IMO assembly session before the election or re-election, said that the Philippines offers not only its membership to the council but its vision of a maritime world safer, more sustainable, and more equitable for all, anchored in steadfast commitment to multilateralism. And with over 500,000 Filipino seafarers serving across fields worldwide, and the Philippines consistently ranking among the top contributors to the global maritime labor force, the country brings a vital perspective to the IMO Council. And what does this mean for our maritime industry, particularly on our Filipino seafarers and also to the Philippine government in general? So to answer those questions, we have now on the line via Zoom the Director 2 of the Domestic Shipping Service, and he is serving as the spokesperson of the Maritime Industry Authority, none other than Director Luisito de los Santos. Good morning, Director de los Santos. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us in the program, Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Thank you, Jerome, for this invitation for us to be able to share some information about what's happening in the maritime industry of the country, particularly those that pertain to the work of the Maritime Industry Authority as the flag state administration of the Philippines.
Yeah. All right. And thank you so much. All right. So let's begin here. So the Philippines has secured a seat at the International Maritime Organization for another 2 years. So in this respect, Director De Los Santos, how Marina will use this voice that we have in the IMO or the International Maritime Organization to protect Filipino seafarers in general?
Thank you for that question. But I would like to provide some kind of perspective first.
Sure.
The International Maritime Organization is the international regulatory organization under the United Nations organization that's responsible for coming up with international regulations relating to shipping and of course the protection of the marine environment. And there are 175 member states and three associate member states plus intergovernmental organizations among others. So the Philippines was recently re-elected as member of the Council of the International Maritime Organization. So we belong to uh, category C. So the Council of the IMO is the highest policy-making body of the organization. They are the ones responsible for approving budgets, and they are also the ones responsible for approving the work program of the organization as well as in setting the strategic priorities of the IMO for the next 2 years. So basically, biennium. So we have 2026 and 2027. So in the IMO Council, there are at least three categories. We have category A, which is composed of 10 countries, and category B, also 10 countries, and category C, 20 countries. So out of the 175 member states of the IMO, elected are 40 members to serve as the council of the IMO, and the Philippines belongs to category C. So another one is for category A, these are the largest ship owning countries where many of these countries employ our seafarers. And category B are those countries that have strong dependence or reliance on shipping services. For example, those countries that have huge number of exports or imports. And category C are those countries that have special interest in the international seaborne trade. For example, the Philippines, we have our seafarers and of course our shipbuilding. So the Philippines, of course, being elected in the IMO Council means a lot. Not only for our being a maritime nation, but also we have a lot of stake to protect in the IMO because we can, we can come up with policy initiatives to be pursued in the IMO.
Oh, okay. So, meaning to say, Director De Los Santos, our re-election at the category C of this IMO membership will mean that we will advance more policy. We can recommend policy creation and changes in the IMO so that our rights as or the rights of the seafarers will be observed and protected.
Yes, yes, you're right. So, but I would like also to tell our listening, public that our participation in the IMO these days, also in the recent years, has been really very proactive in the sense that we have adopted the whole of government approach. So we have there the ambassador of the Philippines in the United Kingdom serving as a permanent representative of the Philippines to the IMO. And we also have a maritime attaché from the Maritime Industry Authority who is now holding her office at the Philippine Embassy in London. But we have also very good partnership with our sister agencies like the Philippine Coast Guard, the Philippine Ports Authority, and our mother agency, the Department of Transportation, as well as a very good partnership with our Department of Migrant Workers.
Okay, so yeah, that's a product. This re-election is a product of a close collaboration between private and public stakeholders. Director De Los Santos. Okay, so moving to another topic here, but still related to the re-election of the Philippines to the IMO Council. It mentions about the global shift to decarbonization and digitalization. So, in reality, Director De Los Santos, this transition requires a massive retraining for our workforce, since we are applying or we are shifting to these two skills. And Filipino seafarers are already burdened by excessive training fees. So as we push for this green transition at the IMO, director, can Marina guarantee that the cost of this trainings, green skills particularly, as we talk about the decarbonization, will be shouldered by principals and manning agencies and not by our Filipino seafarers?
Oh, that is a very, very, very difficult question. But we are preparing, of course, our maritime workforce to be relevant in the future
Mm-mm.
because automation, digitalization, as well as decarbonization are issues that the marine actively participates globally
Mm-mm.
in, of course, in coming up with a responsive
Mm-mm.
uh, policy that is applicable, of course, globally. Now there are negotiations that are ongoing, particularly on the decarbonization. But of course, we supply at any given time more or less 500,000 Filipino seafarers. So we need to prepare them. I
Mm-mm.
think the question now is how are we preparing? Of course, we participate globally in the discussions in the IMO. That's
Mm-mm.
why um, the Marina keeps on sending its representatives to attend various meetings in the IMO because shipping is really very, very international. That's why some people might have already wondering, or they are wondering why there are a lot of marina people, technical
Mm-mm.
people who are attending these meetings because they are very, very important. Our inputs matter most in the deliberation of technical regulations
Yeah.
because we don't like to be left behind.
Yes.
Unlike before, that we just send representative, but things have changed. We need to
Mm-mm.
ensure that our voices are heard. That's why uh, we have allotted, and we have designated key technical personnel who will be responsible in articulating Philippine positions, for example, in decarbonization, and of course, on issues on maritime safety. We also
Yeah.
on the training and certification of Filipino seafarers, as well as we collaborate closely with our stakeholders,
Mm-mm.
particularly our seafarers.
Mm-mm.
Yung mga natin, in fact, our vloggers are very, very actively engaged, and we recognize also their efforts in bringing about uh, correct information to
Yeah.
our stakeholders because we need to ensure that the information ecosystem of the maritime industry should be you
Mm-mm.
know should be away from any fake news. So on the
Yes.
issue of training, well, the marina will have to make it sure that if there will be charges, it will be reasonable. But the
Mm-mm.
amount of fees and charges that will be collected by our money agencies or crewing agencies will be
Okay.
is something that it's our Department of Migrant Workers
Okay.
would be able to respond to. But not Marina. For training fees, um, the Marina is currently coming up with its regulation. That's why we
Mm-mm.
have tapped the University of the Philippines to assist us in coming up with cost of
Mm-mm.
training programs that will not be burdensome, but at least reasonable in such a
Yeah.
way that
Mm-mm.
we're not also making our training centers lose a lot of investment. So it should be a
Mm.
win-win solution. But most of the training programs actually
Mm-mm.
or upgrading programs are shouldered by our money agencies. But of
Mm-mm.
course, there are some who
Mm-mm.
may be not able to provide subsidy
Yeah.
for this, especially the newcomers.
That's right. All right. Although learning doesn't always come free, but it's worth it because a lot of innovations will be learned, a lot of skills will be applied, and at the same time, more perspective will be widened when you took those or take those exercises or trainings, and eventually Filipino seafarers will benefit from this, Director De Los Santos.
Yes, 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 yes.
All right. Okay. Okay. So still on the IMO seat, re-election of the Philippines in the council. So will the Philippines use this IMO seat to demand stricter safety protocols? We know that Filipino seafarers, director, abroad are facing various dangers while on board ship, as we know, and as I recall, Houthi rebels are attacking ships in the Red Sea, and Filipino seafarers are not safe from that event, and soon to be of those Filipino seafarers who have been caught by the Houthi rebels will be home soon. How does the Philippines ensure this use this seat at the IMO to demand stricter safety protocols?
Actually, anything that comes out from the IMO is a product of collaboration among IMO member states. It's during technical discussions that we are able to provide our inputs to any policy that will be issued by the IMO. But we have to take also into consideration that there's another UN organ that is also on top of providing support for global seafarers. For example, we have the International Labor Organization that looks into the welfare of our seafarers, and our Department of Migrant Workers is the lead agency representing the Philippine interests before the International Labor Organization. But in the IMO, the DMW also works with the Marina. So uh, in matters of membership to the Philippine delegation, they are part of the Philippine delegation in such a way that any regulation relating to the security of persons of our seafarers will be discussed there, and it will be adopted globally. But nationally, we have our own mechanism to ensure that we are also able
Mm-mm.
to promote and protect our seafarers. For example, the DMW may be invited to provide more clarification. But the point is, we have a very strong mechanism,
Mm-mm.
a whole of government approach to ensure that no one is left behind in the maritime industry. And the Marina continues to ensure that we are providing the
Mm-mm.
necessary services, appropriate services to our seafarers. So, in fact, fully digitalized marina. So, we look forward that there will be more innovations that will be introduced. And we do this, of course, not because we are marina, but because we need really to ensure that our services redound to the benefit of our Filipino seafarers. But at the end of the day, it's all about the country. It's all about the Philippines that matters.
I see. And you mentioned earlier that no seafarers will be left behind of this whole of government, or let's say whole of nation approach regarding this collaboration benefiting our Filipino seafarers. And I'll just go back to the discussion earlier regarding the innovation and particularly the digitalization and decarbonization efforts, Director De Los Santos. So I would like to ask, since you mentioned about the innovation and times have changed, more trends are developing in the seafarer industry. So, is Marina uh, in the process of revising its standards or training manual so that we can apply these changes or trends, particularly in the seafaring industry?
Jerome, actually, the Marina is really very, very proactive. But we need to be cautious on this because what we are looking at the future is a fuel. It's an alternative fuel that will, of course, provide the necessary support to our global shipping services. But we have not yet arrived of determining what should be the fuel in the future. So we don't know, but
Mm-mm.
we are anticipating that in the event that ethanol will be the future uh, green fuel that will be adopted, we have to train our seafarers. So if it will be hydrogen, it will be ethanol,
Mm-mm.
because it depends upon the fuel that will be adopted, that we need to come up with of our regulations, and of course the upskilling of our seafarers. But the point is, we are actively monitoring developments
Ah.
globally, because for example, if eventually what is adopted is hydrogen, for example, and
Mm-mm.
we just waited for the time, until the time that a global agreement is reached. So we have lost a lot of opportunities if that's the case. So
Yeah.
we need to anticipate and proactive. We have to engage ourselves, the Philippine government, before the IMO. So there will be
Mm-mm.
more discussions that will be happening
Mm-mm.
uh, in the IMO. And in fact, last year there was member states didn't reach into an agreement about, I think, about the issue of decarbonization,
Ah,
the targets and so on and so forth.
okay. And it's a good thing that the government is proactive to these changes, not a reactive one. So it's a great news, and that will surely benefit our Filipino seafarers. Okay, I'm down to my last question, Director De Los Santos. Okay, so can you explain to our seafarers listening right now, since this program is now being heard overseas through our shortwave broadcast? So how does this re-election as IMO member on Category C translate to faster processing of seafarers' papers or better recognition of their licenses globally, not just in Europe, in North America, but in Asia, in Australia, in South America? How does this re-election translate to faster processing?
As a member of the IMO Council, we have to ensure that we maintain our reputation as a responsible member of the IMO. The Philippines, through our STCW office, is currently developing position papers, or Philippine papers for submission in the IMO, particularly the HTW, the Human Element Subcommittee. The HTW actually
Mm-mm.
is the primary technical body of the IMO that's responsible for the development of guidelines or regulations relating to training and certification of global seafarers. So sa IMO, it's the policy, it's the regulation that will be coming out, the training standards. But in the Philippines, it should be a natural responsibility of every government agency to ensure that we promote ease of doing business.
Yeah.
We have to pursue regulatory reforms. We have to
Mm-mm.
ensure that we are providing the appropriate services to our seafarers,
Mm-hmm.
like digitalization has tremendously cut the processing times
Mm-mm.
of our seafarers. They don't need to come anymore to our office. They can apply online. Then
Mm-mm.
Marina will evaluate online their applications, pay online, and receive their certificates online. And they are QR coded.
Mm-mm.
Our quality control of the certificates that we issue, of course, is very, very, shall I say, strong, and it's beyond tampering. And on the part of the Marina, we have to ensure that we we ensure observance of quality management systems, as well as strict enforcement of regulations relating to maritime education and training insofar as our Filipino seafarers are
Mm-mm.
concerned.
Mm-hmm. And it's a good thing that the digitalization efforts is has now reached Marina, and as you mentioned, series of rules will be applied there at Marina, so that digital transactions like paying fees, or their or arranging or settling their licenses will be done online instead of being present in Marina offices. So that's a good thing that the government is doing everything it can to streamline the process in acquiring government services, and that's in line with President Marcos Jr.'s digitalization efforts throughout the government. So with that, thank you. Go ahead.
Jerome, I just would like to add that the Marina actually is one among the government agencies that introduced the blockchain technology,
Oh.
and we have launched already, and we are, of course, there are some that have yet to be addressed, but we look forward that by 2026 or towards the end of 2026 that we have already migrated to the blockchain technology.
Okay.
And masaya
That's
kami
great.
because nakita natin na while marami tayong kliyente ng mga seafarers, we have improved a lot. Nakita natin sa listahan ng mga
Mm.
complaint agencies at our efforts towards digitalization or automation
Mm.
have paid off, and we're just so happy, and we're here to assure
Mm.
continue to provide quality service
Yeah.
to our seafarers, and of course at the end of the day for the Filipino seafarer,
Okay.
for the Filipino people.
And that's good, and that's a good news that Marina is now applying the blockchain technology, and we're expecting for that technology to be to roll out in that agency by next year. So it will be a full blast of this new kind of technology in relation to streamlining the process there at Marina. And again, that congratulations. So that because the country is re-elected again as the member of the IMO Council for the next 2 years. So that's
Yeah,
it will
2026
start
and
next year
2027.
until
Yeah.
2027. Is that correct?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, got it. All right. And with that, thank you so much for joining us in the program to explain this matter and how important is this re-election of the Philippines in the IMO Council. Thank you so much, Director Luisito de los Santos, the Director for Domestic Shipping Service, and he is serving as the spokesperson of the Maritime Industry Authority.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Actually, I have assumed a new designation here, so I'm
Yeah.
now the director for the enforcement service.
Mm.
So anyway, it doesn't matter. But I continue to serve as the spokes of the maritime industry.
Okay, all right. Good to hear, and thank you so much, and have a good day.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. And that was Director Luisito de los Santos, the Director for Domestic Shipping Service at the Maritime Industry Authority. Meanwhile, Front and Center will be right back after these short messages.
Mas pinadali na ang government transactions sa tulong ng eGovPH Super App. Pwedeng-pwede mo nang magawa ang lahat ng ito. I-download ang eGov app sa iyong smartphone o tablet mula sa App Store o Google Play Store. Pagkatapos, ilagay ang iyong mobile number at i-authenticate gamit ang one-time PIN o OTP para marehistro ang iyong account. Saka ilagay ang iyong mga pangunahing impormasyon at kumpletuhin ang facial recognition technology para sa verifikasyon ng iyong pagkakakilanlan. Para sa mas mabilis at mas maayos na serbisyong panggobyerno, gamitin na ang eGovPH Super App.
This is a public service announcement.
Maging handa sa oras ng sakuna. Para sa iyo at sa iyong pamilya, laging siguruhin. Go Bag ay nakahanda at naglalaman ng mga sumusunod. Ilang pirasong damit, ready-to-eat na pagkain at inuming aabot ng 3 araw. Personal na gamit para sa inyong hygiene. First aid kit kabilang ang alcohol, bandages, gamot sa lagnat, ubo at sipon, pati na rin ang inyong vitamins at maintenance medicines. Maglagay ng pito, flashlight, lighter o posporo. Huwag kalimutan ang mga charger o power bank. At higit sa lahat, isama ang mga importanteng gamit gaya ng inyong mga legal na dokumento, IDs, ATM o passbook, insurance at iba pa.
This is a public service announcement. Public service announcement
From PBS, Presidential Broadcast Service, and Radyo Pilipinas.
Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Welcome back to Front and Center here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Still with me, Jerome Toledo. And earlier we spoke with the the spokesperson of the Maritime Industry Authority and the director of the Domestic Shipping Service, Mr. Luisito de los Santos, as he talks about the re-election of the Philippines as member of the International Maritime Organization, or IMO, that's in the category C. And he mentioned about the categories at the IMO. So good thing he mentioned about the classification of membership at the IMO. So in category A, that's 10 countries with that means that that category has the largest ship owner countries. And meanwhile, the category B, which is composed of 10 countries, contains countries with strong dependence on exports. Meanwhile, in category C, which the Philippines belong, has a membership of 20 countries that is concerning about the special that has a special interest on maritime industries, and that's where Philippines belong. That's in category C. And also, Director De Los Santos mentioned earlier about the digitalization efforts at the Maritime Industry Authority, or Marina, and that's in line with the digitalization efforts of the Marcos Jr. administration. And he mentioned about the blockchain technology that is currently being applied in that department, so that the process at the Marina, for example, obtaining their licenses, or fixing or and processing their papers in regards to their seafaring careers will now be done online, and participants or applicants will not be able to go personally in marina offices. So that's a good thing that they've implemented those changes in the marina. And also, Director De Los Santos mentioned earlier about the representation of the Philippines in the at the IMO. So since the country is now re-elected, they will have more. They will have more voice, and at the same time they will have more representation at the IMO, so that they can implement or recommend changes, and at the same time recommend changes and policies that will surely benefit our seafarers. So that's what transpired there earlier in the program with the interview with the spokesperson of the Maritime Industry Authority. And if possible, we will try to get the former commissioner of the Independent Commission for Infrastructure. So that's the former DPWH Secretary Rogelio Babe Singson. As yesterday, if you watch the news, the ICI commissioner and the former DPWH secretary has stepped down from his position as the ICI commissioner, as that's in the middle of the ongoing investigation of the commission regarding the flood control project controversies. So yesterday, in the press briefing, ICI chairperson Andres Reyes Jr. announced to the public that Singson has resigned from his post. The reasons cited were health reasons, and the reason why Singson has stepped down from his position as commissioner is due to the intense and stressful nature of the work that took on him, as he particularly point to former commissioner Singson. And the scheduled resignation of the former ICI Commissioner Rogelio Singson will be effective on December 15, and their report says that his stay could potentially be extended to this date as far as December 31 to complete the administrative handovers, though the resignation remains effective mid-month. So that's December 15. And there are lots of reaction regarding that resignation of ICI Commissioner Singson. particularly the Bicol Saro representative, Terry Ridon, as he said that Singson resignation meant serious setback to its fact-finding work. And meanwhile, mamamayang Liberal Party List Representative Laila de Lima said that Singson's resignation is a major blow in finding the truth behind anomalies in the flood control controversies. On the other side, Caloocan Representative Edgar Irisi said that he had conversation with former Public Works Chief saying that Singson was concerned on his family security and the backlash he might receive while handling the flood control investigation. And the Caloocan lawmaker remarked and claimed that upon resignation of Singson, the commission is now quote unquote dead and it has no credibility. So regarding that statement coming from Representative Erice, we will try to have to get the side of former ICI Commissioner Rogelio Singson Rides. But in the meantime, since we don't have much time here on our program, we will now conclude this edition of Front and Center here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Together with our technical team headed by Miss Susan Aison, and also on our Wirecast we have Hiro Lucero, and on our audio streaming we have Mr. Leo Magpayo. This is your host, Jerome Toledo. Until next time, mabuhay.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.